Growing up as Dyesha was, I think it was fun, but it was also knowing that you had to have a lot more of an adult-like life. So when I was younger, I was being raised by my mom. She really didn't raise me trying to teach me the differences of black and white. You know, I wasn't raised automatically from, you know, kindergarten up just knowing that I was different because of the color of my skin. And so the realizing point that I noticed, like, okay, I'm different, was that point when I actually looked up the definitions of white and black in the dictionary. Being an African American child, I think a lot of teachers don't really realize that maybe as a child you don't really realize that you're African American, and so there came a point where it was kind of like them asking, well, you know, like, what was your take? Like, how do you think it would feel to be this color during that time? And I felt like they kind of had a habit of asking people of color that question rather than just anybody and everybody, because at that age we really don't know. And so I went home, you know, and I had this conversation with my mom about what is black, what is white, what do these things actually mean, and what does it mean for me to be black? And that's when I actually looked that up in the dictionary, and I actually still own that dictionary to this day, the Webster's Dictionary. I can remember like what my room looked like when I looked it up. I can remember exactly where I was sitting when I looked up that in the dictionary. At that age as a child, I think that really I just knew what I processed at that time reading that in the dictionary was, one, I was different, and two, that my difference was looked down upon. It wasn't something that was good. Knowing that, it just changed the way that I navigated through the world. I think it almost kind of like removed my innocence as a child, you know, because it's like as a child, you really you have like an innocent happiness, you know, about you. And I think that it kind of just removed that innocence. And it was like, at that point, I had to be automatically conscious of everything I did, because I had to understand what story that told to other people out in the public eye. For other people who are looking for, I guess, a drive, it's really, I think it's just finding your why. Mm-hmm. Like, why is it that you get up and do what you do every morning? You know, because I think if it's just to make money, that's not going to be a big enough reason why, and you're never going to really have the drive to really do what you do. Your reason has to go a lot beyond that. You know, for my reason, it's to make sure that my mom's taken care of and she doesn't have to want. It's to make sure that my grandma is able to go comfortably, because at the age that she's at, you know, it's only a matter of time before she reaches that point. And there's so many things that she still hasn't seen as an 80-year-old African-American woman who went through the civil rights movement, who actually fought in a court of law for her equal right to be able to live in an apartment complex when a white man refused to rent to her and my grandfather. Primarily for me, one of the things that really helped was just support of the people that were around me. You know, the people that I considered to be my family, that I really considered to be my close friends. Having those people support me made it so I didn't really care what the stranger walking down the street said as they walked past me, or what the other person on the other team said as they were playing a basketball game against me. You know, as long as I was accepted and welcomed by those that were closest to me, it made me a lot more comfortable. Also, I took that in strides. You know, it wasn't me having to be comfortable with being a black gay woman all at once. It was first I had to be comfortable with being black. Mm-hmm. Then I had to be comfortable with being a woman. And then I had to be comfortable with being gay. I think it just comes down to really segmenting it into pieces that you're able to deal with at one time. You know, for me, it was first dealing with my racial identity, because I felt like that was really most pertinent to who I am. Then it was dealing with my identity as a woman, because that's what I first understood. And then it was dealing with my identity as being gay as I became older and fully understood that that's what I was. True potential in being an active group, in being an active group. And, you know, being a group that exercises activism, that's really the only way that we're going to see change, I think, in the system. You really have to be cut out, I think, for this clothing. And I think that that's exactly what it's saying. I think it is a reminder of your strength and of your power. And I think it's a reminder of, you know, you choose what you were defined by. You don't have to be defined by stereotypes. You don't have to be defined by what society says is black, or what society says is white, or what society says is gay. You get to define that. That's really what Undefined is about, is really turning stereotypes on their heels and allowing the individual to define what they feel is the most important or pertinent aspects of their identity and of their culture and what makes them them.